Hi everyone, this is Kerem Baran with Solar Academy. Today I'm here with Chris Masys of REC Group. Chris has been one of those solar veterans that has seen some of the earliest key players in the industry, and that being REC with its various different entities since mid 2000s. I'm especially excited to talk about REC today because not only they're making some impressive moves to come back into some sectors of the industry that they have kind of left in the last several years, but we're also going to talk about the very early beginnings of the industry and talk about how everything evolved and where things are going. So, Chris, with that, can we talk a little bit about how you found yourself in the solar industry, your background, even before that, if you wish? And yeah, let's talk a little bit about your background in the industry for the last close to 20 years and before, if you wish. And then we'll dive into what's going on in the world of REC.
Absolutely, Karim. Thanks for having me. And I agree, looking back on my tenure in the industry, it was actually a college friend of mine who brought me into the industry, and that would have been February 7th, 2006, to be precise. That was working for the integrator named REC, which was originally started in the mid-1990s by alumni of Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, which is where I went to school as well. I was a manufacturing engineer. And really, at that point in time, having lived most of my life in California, we were faced with two key crises, which at that point was a water crisis and an energy crisis. That was back in the days of the rolling brownouts and blackouts across across the California IOUs. And it seemed like at that point in time, the water crisis didn't really have a set of solutions that was commercializable, but certainly the deployment of solar PV would help with the energy crisis. So that was really the genesis of my entry into the industry. Where I cut my teeth was surveying rooftops and sitting at the kitchen table. In those days, we were actually bringing folding ladders in our sales vehicles, climbing up on rooftops, measuring it, doing the old soulmetric measurements. It was a great way to really understand the front lines of the industry. Since then, sort of moved into sales management and biz dev roles within that organization. There was a tie-up between the parent company of REC Solar Inc., the integrator, and the global manufacturer of solar materials called REC Group, which ironically had started in the mid-1990s as well, but in Norway rather than California. There was a period of time from 2008 for several years where the organizations were aligned with a stakeholding. That stakeholding was
Were the founders the same or affiliates of each other, or were there overlap, and the name, was it just coincidence that they had the same name?
It's a great question, Karim. The name was a coincidence. At that point in time, I would say the best recognition of the acronym REC was actually a renewable energy credit. At that point in time, there were very targeted incentive programs.
Rex and SREX.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So
Yeah.
the solar carve out would be an SREC, just a renewable energy credit in general would be a REC. That's usually of lower value than an SREC because wind power at that point in time was much cheaper. Things have changed quite a bit since then. So there was no affiliation between the founders. REC Group stands for Renewable Energy Corporation. There was essentially no collaboration, not even really a knowledge of each other at the time.
And this is a Norwegian corporation we're talking about, which today's REC Group is also, or your organization is also affiliated with, correct?